Hello, hello, hello. This is Gresh from the IMCO podcast, and I have a very special guest on the show today. I have Barrett Bogue of Evocati LLC. Barrett, it's awesome having you on the show.
Gresh, it's great to be here. I really appreciate the opportunity to come and talk with future and current CEOs.
Definitely. You're doing so many awesome things. I truly appreciate you for hopping on as well. And what I want to do is just read a little bit more about Barrett so you can hear about all the awesome things that he's doing. And Barrett is president and founder of Evocati LLC, a marketing consulting firm that helps businesses grow their investment in the military connected community. Prior to founding Evocati, he served in executive leadership roles in the federal and nonprofit sectors, including the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs. He served 6 years in the U.S. Marine Corps Reserves and was deployed in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom II. Barrett is a 2009 President Management Fellow and 2019 Scholar with the George W. Bush Institute Stand to Veteran Leadership Program. He lives with his wife and daughter in Fairfax, Virginia. Barrett, thank you for your service. And are you ready to speak to the IMCO community?
Yeah, I appreciate it, Gresh. Let's get going.
Let's do it then. So to kind of kick everything off, I wanted to rewind the clock a little bit, hear a little bit more on how you got started. Could you take us through your CEO story? When did you get started with your business?
Yeah. So Evocati really started as an idea, working through the nonprofit and federal sectors. I kept hearing from our partners at the time how much they struggle to reach the military connected community. They would have a great mentoring program or a great scholarship program, and they would come to us and say, "Can you help us do this?" And I thought, well, I could teach people how to do that, and in some cases do it on their behalf. So that was the business idea. And so Evocati started as a side hustle. I had one pro bono client while I was working full time. My good friend Todd Connor, former CEO at Bunker Labs, he called it being a third shift entrepreneur. So if you're listening and you're working full time and you're thinking about starting that side hustle, let me tell you, it can be done, and it's a great way to test your business idea. So we did that, and it worked out great to an extent where I quit my job and said, I'm going to do Evocati full time. And that was in 2018. And thus far, we've been able to serve about 6 or 7 clients in reaching the military connected communities.
Nice. I definitely appreciate that. I appreciate, how everything started and how you've been able to grow it. And I think so many times, as you said, we think that we have to go from 0 to 60, and we don't realize that there's steps, there's a process to it. As you said, it started out with an idea, became a side hustle, and then you went into it full time. So I love to hear that transition. Of course, hear, all the awesome things that you're doing to help serve the community.
Yeah, look, the best way I can describe it and how Bunker Labs taught me is, when you're an entrepreneur, it's going to feel like you're climbing up a mountain. And typically when we have that illustration, you're climbing straight up a mountain. But that's not the case. In reality, being an entrepreneur, when you climb a mountain, it's got switchbacks, okay? Sometimes you got to go down to go up to make that summit. And that's the journey of an entrepreneur, I'd stress with you and your listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. I say it so many times that we forget that sometimes we have to take some steps back to go forward. And I love that switchbacks and that kind of visual, because it reminds us of the journey, and that is not a straight path by any stretch of the imagination.
It's not at all, man.
Awesome. So I want to drill a little bit deeper here, a little bit more about your business. Could you take us through exactly what you do and how you serve the clients you work with?
So Evocati is, like you described at the beginning, we're a marketing and service firm. We are a service-connected, disabled veteran-owned small business, and we're licensed to operate in Virginia. Our clients typically operate in the Metro DC area and serve the military-connected community as a whole. Our ideal client is the nonprofit, the federal or proprietary executive who has a program or initiative that they want to do within the military-connected community. So when we say military connected community, we're talking about the military family. We're talking about active duty, spouses, the 22 military veterans in America, their spouses and their children as well. And Evocati has 3 different lines of business. We have Evocati Creative, which is the marketing side of the company. And if you have a a social media platform, or if you have a program that you want to market out there to the public or to a subset of the military connected community in general, we can help you do that. We have Evocati Growth, which is the consultation side of the company. So what we've generally found is there are mid to large size companies that want to establish an internal program for the veterans who work there, a mentoring program or an employee resource group. They can join us as partners and we can help them establish that. So we'll work for about 8 to 12 weeks, set up the program, set some KPIs, and then be on our way. And then finally, Evocati Experience, which is our event planning side of the company. So if you've got a great idea for an event you want to do, but you don't have an event coordinator, you can hire us to help you do that. And be it virtual, in person, they're all virtual right now, but I'm putting it out there when we're back to in person. We can help you do that. We can also help you amplify that opportunity and that event within the military connected community.
Nice. I definitely appreciate that. And I don't know if you find this, when you work with your clients or even talk with your clients as well, too. It kind of sounds like there can be a lot of overlap between each of those different pieces where, especially if you're trying to grow, there's different ways that you can do it. Can be having an event. It can be, growing yourself within your organization and how you're connecting with the military aspect, but also that marketing piece that you mentioned, that creative piece.
It does, and we started out having all of the three services combined, and what we found is if we divide it up a la carte, we're actually able to do more targeted marketing and SEO that way. And also, sometimes clients may come in and say they want to do everything, and when we talk with them, we say, you're not built to do everything right now, but here's one slice that we can do and work on together. And have some success. And when you're ready to expand that, we can talk further. So we don't want to, I'm very big on not overselling our capability. I'm very big on trying to match opportunity with cost-efficient solutions. That's that's our mission, is to provide cost-efficient solutions for anybody to grow their impact within the military connected community.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely appreciate that. And I think, yeah, absolutely. When people, see the full menu, they always check all the above, but really having that opportunity to
Right.
engage and have that conversation is really when you get to see what can make the most impact. And when you have those conversations, you really look at it, you can see what might fit in the best. And so I wanted to drill down a little bit deeper, hear a little bit more on what I call your secret sauce. And this could be for yourself personally or your business
Yeah.
or a combination of both. But what do you feel kind of sets you apart and makes you unique?
Well, so the number one mistake that we see companies do when they want to target the military connected community is to hire one person to do all of the work. They'll bring in a retired colonel or a retired captain or somebody enlisted, and they say, you're wearing the veteran's hat in our company and you're just going to do it all. Sometimes that is successful, but it can also be entirely burdensome. And our secret sauce is we're able to do that for your company at a fraction of the cost. Instead of hiring one expert for full time, you can outsource to us, and we can bring on board multiple experts that we have at our disposal to help you maximize your impact within the military connected community. So that's the cost efficient solution that we provide. And so my 5-second pitch is we're your company's fractional director of military and veterans affairs. So maybe you want to do this. Maybe you want to implement a new program in the military connected community, or better yet, maybe you want to hire more veterans and you don't know how. If you want to have a safe space to operate in that world and to do that without bringing somebody on full time, then reach out to Evocati and we can help you do that and explore that area at a fraction of the cost. And hey, the best solution is you don't need our help anymore because your entire team is empowered to do it. And you're in a better position financially to bring somebody on board full time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can definitely imagine it allows you that opportunity to be to do what you do best, to be in best service. And I think a lot of times when you want to and have the mission to be able to support, the military community, but at the same time, you might just say, this one person is going to do it. Not only are you not able to be fully focused on maybe the things you do to your core, but you also may not be having the impact that you could have. So it's so important to kind of partner with the professionals and the experts that are able to make it happen and to be able to create those win-win-win opportunities.
It really is. You really you're very astute in that observation. We had a client and they do fantastic work, Jared Allen's Home for Wounded Warriors, in building adapted homes for disabled veterans, and in working with them to think about their marketing plan, as well as to generate more fundraising. We discovered that their impact to the veteran is incredible, but every veteran that they serve and build a $500,000 home for is for the whole family. So they actually benefit the entire veteran's family. And it was a whole different sector of the marketing community that they weren't taking advantage of. And so we were able to help them discover that and say, hey, look, you're actually making a meaningful impact within the whole military family. We need to be talking that up.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes when you're so close to it, you can't see the forest for the trees. And that's why it's so important to have those experts that are able to say, this is really the impact that you're making. It's so much more sometimes than we often can see in front of us.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I wanted to switch gears a little bit, and I wanted to ask you for what I call a CEO hack. So this could be like an app, a book, or a habit that you have, but what's something that makes you more effective and efficient?
Well, that's a great question. I'll give you a hack, and then I'd like to give just one piece of advice that was really helpful for me. I practice inbox zero. So I firmly believe that if you can manage your inbox, you can manage anything, all right? Because we're all getting inundated with stuff. So I practice inbox zero as a CEO. I end the day with 0 unread messages. I set aside time, what I call executive time throughout my day to check my inbox. Because if you're working from your inbox, you're actually working on other people's priorities. You're not working on your priorities. So I set aside time, I check my inbox. If I read something, I need to respond to it right away, I do. But if I don't, I'll tag it, categorize it, mark it to read for later. And I've been doing that in all different roles in the federal, nonprofit, and now entrepreneurial sector. And it's just been a great benefit. So inbox zero, go check it out and implement it. If you've got 3,000 unread messages, man, that makes me itch if I have like a single unread message now. So it's been wonderful to follow that. The last piece of hack or advice I would give you, your listeners here, is I started Evocati when I was 38, and I could not have started it and been successful at 28. So give yourself permission to wait. Give yourself permission to date your business idea before you marry your business idea. I'm so glad that I waited until I had built a network and had a successful career in these two sectors before I founded Evocati. So if you still have that business idea, but you really enjoy the job that you're doing, that's okay. Give yourself permission to wait until you really feel ready to take that leap.
Nice. I definitely appreciate that. I love the inbox zero. I think the only time I had inbox zero was when I first opened up my email account. So I love that, as a goal
Yeah.
to go to. I think it's something that takes a lot off your plate as far as like what you have to do. And I love that perspective you talked about as you're working on somebody else's priorities. And I think when you can flip that and you can start to be in quote unquote more control of that helps out a tremendous amount. And it kind of right in line with that, being able to understand that we're running a marathon, and just because we have an idea, it doesn't mean you have to do it the next day. Doesn't mean you have to go from 0 to 60, as we kind of talked about before. You have that opportunity to build up relationships, build up skills, build up all the things that are going to help increase your likelihood of success. And while you may think you're not working on your business, you are working on your business because you are building yourself up to be a better CEO, entrepreneur, or business owner.
That's exactly right. The time that you're spending doing that is really just you're investing in yourself. And that's the best thing you can do before you start a business is take courses on LinkedIn, build out your network, refine your business idea. Start it as a side hustle, find that one person and set up a client relationship and do it pro bono. The best thing you could do is have your first client be pro bono and put the best work and put your best effort into it. And I promise you, it's going to pay dividends when you do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that feedback, that information is so huge and can lay or create the foundation, for your entire business. And so you might have already touched on this. Would you consider that to be what I call your CEO nugget, which is kind of like that word of wisdom or piece of advice, something you might tell yourself or you can tell somebody if they're a client?
I do. So when I started this business as a side hustle, I've had several other friends, colleagues, and just people through my LinkedIn network reach out to me and say, "Hey, I've seen what you did, and I want to do the same thing." And so I tell them that is start small, think big. Definitely, like I said earlier, date your business idea before you're ready to marry it, and be intentional and purposeful in what you're doing. It's going to feel like you're taking on the world, and I promise you, you're not. The last thing is get that what I call kitchen cabinet. Your spouse, your significant other, your family. Talk to them about what you're interested in doing. They're going to be the cheerleaders in your life. They're the ones who are going to provide that feedback to you and encouragement. And build that kitchen cabinet out before you even found an LLC or a nonprofit. All right.
Yeah, absolutely love that visual, especially of the kitchen cabinet, because what you're trying to do, I always believe, at the heart of business is minimizing your risks as much as possible and being able to have those, significant others, those that you love and care about that are going to support you through those times that may be less than ideal, which will come. It allows you to be successful. But as you talked about taking courses, doing so many different things, it just increases your likelihood of being successful because you can really focus on basically providing those products and services, being of service to the clients and doing that great work. And I think once we able to take care of that cabinet, that kitchen cabinet, that allows us to really be of servant and be present.
It really is, and you're spot on with that. And I would just say to those of you listening and watching right now, like this idea started when I was 30, so it was baking for 8 years really before I started doing it full time. Just to kind of give you a concept. So don't feel discouraged if you're 5 years into it and you haven't done it yet. That's okay. You're still refining and investing in yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And we often forget that the people that are the most successful are those that do the 10,000 hours, that put in the time, and it doesn't happen overnight. The secret to the overnight success is it takes 10 years. And we often forget that aspect of it.
We do. We really do, man. And I'm glad we have an opportunity to emphasize that today.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely, because it's so important. And so now I want to ask you my absolute favorite question, which is the definition of what it means to be a CEO. And we're hoping to have different quote unquote CEOs on the show. So Barrett, what does being a CEO mean to you?
Well, being a CEO really is, look, at the end of the day, I am a servant leader at heart. And so I derive satisfaction and value and feel accomplished when I lift others to success. So my role as a CEO and as president and founder of Evocati is not only to lift our clients to success, but our team as well. So I'm their biggest cheerleader. I'm investing in them as much as I'm investing in the company. And so servant leadership is really what being a CEO means to me.
Nice. I definitely appreciate that, and in that kind of that effect that we have, the domino effect that we have, and we don't realize sometimes that we have not just on our clients but also on the team members that we're working with, the people that we even come across, or might even have on a podcast. We make that impact, and it definitely creates that ripple effect that we often don't see all the time on every given day. So I definitely appreciate that perspective, and I appreciate your time even more. What I wanted to do is pass you the mic, so to speak, just to see if
Yeah,
there's anything additional you can let our readers and listeners know. And of course, how best they can get a hold of you and find out about all the awesome things you're working on.
yeah, Gresh, I appreciate it. So if you're listening and you're thinking about starting a business and you're a military veteran, definitely check out the Bunker Labs community. But if you're not a military veteran and you still want to learn more, just find me on LinkedIn, reach out to me. I'm more than happy to talk to you about that process. If you want to learn more about Evocati, and the clients that we serve, just visit Evocati LLC.com.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much again, Barrett. We will definitely have the links and information in the show notes. I love that visual about the kitchen cabinet, and having a kitchen cabinet is reaching out and getting help and finding out about those resources that can help us to be successful. So I appreciate you for reminding us of that and doing it as well. And I hope you have a great rest of the day.
You bet, Gresh. Thank you so much for this opportunity.